Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the most recent leaks. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so I normally don't mess around with leaks because, to tell you the truth, the majority of them are not true. And the last thing I'm trying to do is like hype people up and then let them be disappointed. And the truth is, for the most part, I'd rather not even have the leaks. Like, if they just crack down on them completely and we never got any, that would be even better because you don't really get much out of it. It basically just spoils your excitement later for a little bit of gratification now. And obviously there's one creator in the space that's fairly reliable and tends to have a lot of speculation and a lot of leaks. And often they do come true. So I kind of just leave that to other people's wheelhouse. But that being said, this one looks pretty legit. So here we have basically a Warhammer The Old World Fantasy Battles in the World of Legends Tomb Kings of Khemri Edition box set. Now it's not an actual box set, but pretty clearly it is like a warehouse and this is the packaging, and someone has decided to probably like open up a package and leak out some pictures. So we've got this picture right here, which is the front of the box. And then we also have one more picture, which is the back of the box and actually shows off the contents, which is pretty cool. And we'll get to that one in a second, but I have to say this does look pretty freaking legit to me, and it's circulating the internet, so you're probably going to see it anyway. If not, sorry, don't watch any further in the video and you won't really be spoiled because it was pretty obvious that Tomb Kings were getting a box set. But that being said, the first thing that tells me this is legit is one, it actually looks like a real picture. It doesn't look like something that somebody just snapped like a picture of one thing or could have like easily photoshopped. We can see it's a ton of the packaging laid out. More likely than not, this is packaging in some warehouse outside of an actual Games Workshop place. This picture was probably taken at the place where they're actually like creating the packaging, which is one of the few things that Games Workshop does outside of its Nottingham factory. So again, seems pretty legit to me. So right off the bat, I want to say, I really like the art on this. We see like a actual like art piece on the front, which is pretty cool and definitely looks awesome. Very colorful, nice packaging. I gotta say, it looks good. And then also we see that an actual model is displayed on the sides here as well. And this was the new sort of like Tomb King dragon thing. Now the actual dragon itself is kind of weird. It's pretty cool, but it sort of has like a little crocodile thing going on. But they showed this off already at the most recent Games Workshop reveal show. So we know it's legit. So very cool. I really like the packaging. I think it looks good overall. And to me, definitely looks legit. Now, that being said, is it possible that somebody created this with Photoshop or AI or something like that? Yeah, anything's possible, but seems very unlikely. As typically, there's at least like one or two red flags that are kind of like show you that it's not legit. So without further ado, let's take a look at the back of the box and see what's in this bad boy. All right, so here is the second picture of the leak. And here we can see like fairly clearly what the actual contents are. Now, I'm not going to go like full detective status on this. And I haven't really taken like a super close up like look at this already on my own. So we're kind of just doing this together. But right off the bat, we see the dragon right here. And then we see also like an actual book. And now typically when we see one of these big box sets, it's either going to be like two armies against each other and like a, a starter equivalent with like the rule book. Or it's going to be just like one faction and then maybe a codex. Or in this case, like battle tome. But that's not really what this looks like. This looks to me like your basic like starter like rule book for the edition. And another thing that kind of tells me that is we see some dice, some templates, and some rulers right here as well. So it seems to me like Games Workshop is mixing it up on this one. And again, we don't see like a second faction or anything present. It obviously looks like just one army lined up, not like two ready to fight each other or something like that. So it looks to me like the launch box or like starter box, at least for the Tomb Kings, is going to be a bunch of actual Tomb King models, like an army. And then on top of that, going to be your Warhammer rulebook, dice, templates, and range. So pretty cool and a little something different. All right, so we already talked about the big guy, the new one that they already showed off. And that's a really cool model for sure. We know that there's two different build options for it. And whichever one you don't use for the main piece, you basically take the other hero that would be riding on top. And then that's your like foot hero. So pretty cool right there. And then on top of that, we see very clearly a chariot right here. And we can see that actually the set is going to be with 3 chariots because we can see them lined up right there. And then the actual art is repeated on the different sides right here. But we can see also there's a bunch of skeletons. So it is a little tough to tell the exact like ranks, but it appears to be more than 2 rows right here. So we have basically 5 across and at least 2 deep. I think more likely than not, depending on the picture here, it looks like it's probably 4 deep. But the thing that makes me think it's 4 is we see like 1 spear here and then it looks like a line going straight back that aligns with the angle. So let's go ahead and zoom in here and see if we can get a better look. Okay, not bad actually. So there is a 93 right there, which seems like a lot of models to be in a starter set, but could be viable. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. So let's see if we can get a better idea what's going on here. I can't quite make out the actual like wording and numbers and stuff like that, unfortunately. But again, we do see here, that's our big boy. Here's a character on foot. We see a basic skeleton. Some of these look like the old models as well. And then here we see like skeleton on steed. And then of course the skeleton chariot. So then here in the picture, we see the skeleton chariots right here, 3 of those. We see the big boy. We see the character on foot. So that's our very clear like 4 models right there. And then we assume this is the second character for right here. And then the actual cavalry, we can see they're 4 across and 2 deep. So there's 8 of them. We can see here again, 4 across and 2 deep. That's 8 of them again. So there's 16 cavalry. 3 of the chariots, that's 19, and then 20 with the big boy right here. And then it looks like the skeletons are 5 across and 4 deep, so that's another 20. So that gives us roughly 40 models, and then another brick of skeletons right here. That's going to give us 60 models. And then it looks like we have the archers in the background here as well. And that is like 8 across and probably 2 deep, which means there's 16 of them, and then another 16 right here. So that's going to give us 32 archers. So if my calculations are correct, we've got 32 archers. We've got 16 of the cavalry, so that's 48 models, and then another 20 and 20 of the spearmen. That puts us at 88, and then we have the 3 chariots. That's going to give us 91, and then 92 for the big boy crocodile dragon, and 93 for the extra hero on foot that's built from that set, which obviously lines up with our little 93 down here in the corner. So yeah, I think we have basically cracked the code on this. So 93 models in this box set is pretty chunky, especially in the days where Games Workshop releases like a launch box for something like the Black Templars in Warhammer 40k and gives you something like 13 models plus the codex. So to see a chunky box like this with 93 models in it is pretty awesome. And then now that we're zoomed in here, I think we can pretty clearly tell that this is not like the battle tome for the Tomb Kings. It probably is like the actual starter rulebook. And then like we said, a couple range rulers, some of the old school templates in orange, and then a little pile of dice. So that's it. That's my first take on the official leaks right here. And I've got to say, after seeing like the front of the box, a bunch of them laid out like that, seems very likely that somebody that's at the actual like manufacturer for the packaging leaked this. And then looking here at the back, we've got a lot of stuff that lines up. 93. We see a bunch of the old models. We see the new one that was recently showed off with the second alternative build on foot. And I think I can say with like 90% certainty that this is real. I would go with like the full 99, never 100 obviously. But to tell you the truth, the internet is a vast place and people got way too much time on their hands. So anything's possible. But yeah, pretty cool. Again, I don't necessarily love leaks. They sort of like rob you of future excitement, but it's just a matter of time before this one gets out there. And this does actually look legit. So I figured I'd bring it to you guys. So let me know what you think down below. Are you excited for Warhammer Old World? Does this leak look legit to you? What do you think about Games Workshop packing 93 models plus a book and all the other stuff you need in a single box? And most importantly, 1, are you going to be picking this up? And 2, how much do you think this is going to cost? Because we know Games Workshop for a big model like this, a centerpiece, has been charging like $170 in Age of Sigmar. You know, we have like Teclis at 170. We have the Mega Gargants at 170. I want to say like Alariel and a lot of the other like big characters as well. So if that individual model is 170 and then there's another like 91, you know, assuming those two come in one set together, obviously, this box is probably going to be freaking expensive. I mean, just to get a rough idea, I would imagine they're going to charge something like $60 for the chariots. And then if we say basically like $60 for each of the bricks of skeletons, $60 for the bricks of cavalry, which is probably like undershooting a little bit. And then $60 for each set of archers as well. And again, I'm just going with like a simple price point that Games Workshop's been using lately. That gives us 60, 120, another 120, that's 240, another 120, that's 360. And then another 60, that's 420. And then 170, that's 590. And then your book here is probably going to be like $60. So that is like $650 worth of, like, my guess at models at Games Workshop's MSRP. So if this box is 650 bucks and Games Workshop tends to offer somewhere between like a 35 to like 50% discount on like big launch boxes, starter boxes, stuff like that, this box is probably going to cost somewhere in between $300 and $400. At least that's my guess. Now, maybe it won't be quite as expensive because there's a lot of like old models here. And by old, I mean, these things are freaking old, not like 5 years old or 10 years old. They're like 25 to like 30 years old. So what do you think? You think Games Workshop is going to hit us with a $300 price point on this? You think it's going to be even more than that? Or do you think this is going to be more like $200 to $250? Because to me, that seems like there's no way that's going to happen. So yeah, no need to drag this video on too long. Let me know what you think. I do enjoy speculating on this kind of stuff, as long as it looks legit to me. Because the last thing I want to do is get people excited and then it turns out it's fake. And we know that has happened countless times in the Warhammer / Games Workshop space. But as far as I'm concerned on this one, I'm going with 90% confirmation that this is real. And I think that they're going to price this just under $400. So I'm going to go with $395. So give me your probability this is real down in the comments. Let me know what your guess is for the price on this. Am I off with the MSRP for like all the contents? And then do you think I'm way off on the actual price they're going to charge as well? And then we can kind of compare, because I think if we get a bunch of people guess in the comments, we can get a pretty clear range as to what other people are thinking. And I'm sure that we're going to fall somewhere in that range will be the actual price Games Workshop is charging. But yeah, that's it. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and the Tomb Kings of Khemri are looking sick. And I'm out of here.